Hello, and thank you so much for your interest in the State Board of Education race and the future of Ohio's children. For those I'm meeting for the first time, my name is Vickie Briercheck, and I have spent the past 30 years as an educator. I've also been a parent of 2 children who graduated from Ohio's public schools, and am now a grandparent to an Ohio 3rd grader. I have never felt compelled to run for political office, yet today is different. After hearing the voices of my colleagues and parents over the past few years, I feel my experience is needed to correct our path of educating Ohio children. I want to contribute my personal and professional skills on the Ohio State Board so that districts are provided with clear and concise direction and support. I also want to make sure that the concerns and needs of the districts are taken to the board. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to help you get to know me and why I'm so concerned with our current path, and will share with you my vision. I believe in school improvement, not school humiliation. At a recent campaign forum, we were asked what schools could do to improve community perceptions when they continue to get D's and F's on the district report card. When all research indicates that poor performing schools are the result of economic status, would it not make more sense to support students and families rather than punishing schools? I worked in a district that had a drastic demographic change, going from a 1% poverty rate to over 40% in just 15 years. This change and the subsequent effects of poverty on the education of children was profound and informative. When a school has an overwhelming number of poor children, the test scores are going to be low. This does not mean the children are incapable of learning. It means we must partner with the schools to create impactful resources for these students. This will require much more listening to these districts and parents than we have done previously. As Ohioans, we must ask ourselves, how many future leaders of industry, education, medicine, and the arts have we lost because the children and their teachers simply face too many barriers? As we challenge the status quo of poverty in education, we don't simply raise graduation rates, but we raise communities, families, and our state. So where do we start? We start with leadership that has real professional education experience. I have presented at professional conferences, participated in county in-services, and conducted teacher professional development in my own district. I have represented my peers at the state level leading their professional organization. In order to support school improvement, one must stay current with educational research. For example, while the current energy spent on bringing up the bottom is having some success, we are holding back others who are ready to move on. According to researcher Jonathan Plunker, teaching to minimum standards does more than yield minimum standards. It creates an excellence gap. We are keeping many capable students in a holding pattern while we work to bring up others. I can share this and other current research with the board, not in general terms, but with real Ohio student examples. I will also be able to suggest effective and positive ways to disseminate information to teachers and building leaders. This is not because I've spent years on one legislative committee after another, but because I've sat behind the desk as a teacher and a principal. I know their challenges. There is no other candidate with this experience and background. Despite my intimate experience with our educators, students, and families, the State Board is not unfamiliar. I review the monthly minutes and am aware of the personalities and perspectives of many of the members. My approach is not to shout louder, but to listen harder. This helps me bring together opposing views and find common ground. This ability promotes compromise and work gets completed. We need this type of presence on the board. We also need to maintain a constant dialogue, not just with legislators, but with voters. Often I have testified before legislative committees regarding budgets and student needs. I've also brought students to speak for themselves. I believe in Ohio, and I believe in our democracy. To keep our democracy healthy, public education is crucial. To this end, I'd like to take a moment and discuss a controversial issue in Ohio's educational system: charter schools. Charter schools have a place, but they should not take money away from the public schools established to serve all students. When one can prove that so-called failing schools are due to malpractice rather than poverty, then perhaps we should look elsewhere. However, providing social services to children and their families has shown to make a difference. Further, if we are to have charter schools funded with public money, then those schools must have to meet the same expectations as public schools. At the current time, they are not. Without a fair comparison, how will parents make an informed choice? In many cases, parents have unknowingly taken their children from one problem school to one that is much worse. I will not stand for public policy that allows Ohio parents to be deceived when working so hard to support their children. Knowing that this happens is frustrating as an educator and heartbreaking as a parent. I also believe children should have access to an appropriate curriculum. Right now, our expectations are one size fits all. In our current system, all children must learn the same thing at the same time and take the same tests. Children who learn quickly can't take an assessment and move to the next level. Students who are developmentally delayed are expected to learn material that will really never be useful, and they no longer receive the life skills they really need. Of course, we have to have standards and expectations, but when and how students get there should be centered on student readiness. This is student-centered education, and I will pursue it on the board. Throughout my last year of active service, I felt the negative effects of the current accountability policies on our teachers, and most importantly, the students. There is a place for accountability. Taxpayers have a right to know if teachers in public schools are effective. However, the tail should not wag the dog. Right now, we have accountability gone amok. Accountability is driving instruction instead of the people who know the student and their needs. Teachers need once again to be respected for their dedication and professional skill set. They really do know how to teach, and it is a skill they continue to learn and develop throughout their careers. I have watched wonderful, talented, caring people leave the profession, while others soldier on because they believe children need them. Perception is reality, and most educators feel that public education is under attack. Our public school teachers are not all aggressive union members out for themselves. Do those people exist? Of course. Every profession has people like that. But let me assure you, there is no one who wants to get rid of a bad teacher more than a good teacher, and we should work with good teachers on how to effectively do this. We live in a time when teachers know more about how children learn than they ever have. Every public school can and should have a plan to make sure all teachers teach according to best practice. Teachers should be evaluated with some part of that evaluation tied to student progress. However, one must take care that the relationship between teachers and their students is not compromised by teachers pushing students to keep their jobs. Too often in our current structure, teachers are spending time looking over their own shoulder rather than that of a struggling learner. We will champion our teachers not with words, but support for the dedication, passion, and professionalism they embody. Throughout the campaign and getting to know my fellow candidates, I truly believe that I am best equipped to face our current challenges. I have also gotten to know many of you. I hope you will reach out to me for more questions and share our message with your friends and family. Serving our state education system is not a political step, but a political destination. My journey to ask for your vote was informed by a career of experience and a passion to provide every child the opportunity to learn and succeed.